Hi there. How are you? Welcome to NPR's Morning Edition. My name is Asa Weeks.
My name is Stitch Early.
And we're here. We have a great episode for you today on the Could Be Better podcast, or tonight or tomorrow or whatever time you choose to listen to this. Christopher Perry, who is the master of Could Be Better, booked this fabulous guest. Can you tell us about your relationship with him?
Yeah. So Brendan is one of the homies, I guess. And so I've known him since he was like 14 or 15. So it's been a long time.
3 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, he looks really adult-like. And what's kind of weird is I think he booked one of my old bands, our first show at the Mount Airy Fire Hall back in the day.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever play there? Do you even know what that is?
I didn't even know that was a thing. No.
Yeah. So there used to be like a whole bunch of like a hardcore and metal and heavy shows.
I've been here for 10 years. That's like, how would I know this?
Yeah, 10. Yeah, it's been longer than 10. But anyway, so it was him and his brother Garrison. So shout out to G Money. And they yeah, he loves that nickname, by the way. It was they had a production thing that they did, and they would book all sorts of bands, and he got us to play, and it was just really cool, and got to know him. And like, he always, I mean, and you'll kind of hear it a little bit in the interview, it's like he's loosened up a bunch, but he used to take himself like really seriously. And so when you're like 15 and you're like really serious, you're like, oh, come on. And so we always had a little bit of like a rough go at it, and I was always pretty sarcastic to him on Twitter, and like he never knew how to take it. And then eventually he's like, so do you hate me or do you like me? I'm like, dude, you're the best. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then now everything's just like sarcasm all the time, and it's great.
So you guys used to fight?
I think he thinks we used to fight. I never felt like we were fighting.
Listen to you on your pedestal. I was better than everything.
I mean, I didn't say that, but I mean, kind of.
Well,
But yeah, no, I mean, like, but we've known each other for a long time. It was like the big developmental years. I think I was 16 when I was 16, 17 when I met him, and I was a piece of shit, man. Like, I mean, it's like the stuff.
Nothing's changed.
No, nothing has changed, and it's just it got to the point where we got to see each other kind of grow up in different ways, and we kind of, it was the game respects game. Like, he hustles, he knows what he's doing, and what's been really cool is like over the last couple of years, whether it be booking shows here in town, running merch for them, out of town at festivals or things like that, it's just been a lot of fun. And I think that's been the cool thread that's kept us together. It's like, it's just been a lot of fun.
So this was a friendship that kind of started not in the best way.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then kind of evolved into something that sounded, at least, and as maybe everybody will hear on this episode, a friendship that's important to you. Oh,
yeah. I mean, Brendan's one of the dudes where it's like, I mean, if he were to tell me, hey, like I'm moving, or like, hey, I'm doing this thing, like that'd be really sad. So,
was he in your wedding?
No, I don't even think. You know what? I think he was invited, but I was gonna say he may not even have been invited. But no, I
wasn't
think
invited.
I didn't know you.
Well, you did.
2013, 2012. I knew you.
You were soulmates. You knew me since the day you were born.
I mean, I knew you, but I didn't know you,
And what you knew of me, you knew you didn't want me at your wedding.
No, what I knew is like, I knew like, oh, that would make a really disruptive wedding.
So this is a good episode. I really appreciated him, I guess, just from top to bottom. And of course, the final segment, if anybody makes it there.
Which you should. It's a world premiere of a new song, new Hostile Ray song. You're going to hear it here first, almost 24 hours before the world does. Get to it first.
Very true. That's very true. And we got into deep waters on mental health and all of that. And I really appreciate how forward he is with his struggles. I thought that was really nice. Has he always been like that? Do you have those types of conversations with him?
I do now. I think, as people will kind of hear, it's like it wasn't an immediate thing for him, because it's like, I think thanks to people like Brene Brown and YouTube and the internet.
People like YouTube?
Yeah, he's nice. Vulnerability is a really big topic now, and it's just kind of like the key to opening up a lot of yourself and things like that. And if you're always fearful of like either not being accepted or or you don't even understand yourself, it's hard to share that with others. And so I think a lot of the work that Brendan did made it really easy for him now to get to that point. And it's like,
he's right. It's never not work.
Right.
Like you never, and I think probably my favorite thing that he said was that people think there is a a sort of
Finish
end
line.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's not.
No. and we get sold that, right? In movies and media and stuff like that too, like in general, like it kind of
Media,
sucks.
come on. This is media.
This is media. Yes. Actually, it could be better. It is now on CNN Plus. Shout out to President Chris Licht. It's cool.
We're also on Pluto.
Yeah. We're going to be the first podcast that streams when Elon Musk sends.
No, you don't know what Pluto is?
No.
Pluto is a Roku channel where they just run Deal or No Deal reruns.
Why do you know about this?
Because I watch a lot of Deal or No Deal reruns. When I should be watching Ted Lasso. But
God, have you finished it yet?
I haven't even started it yet. I haven't. Did I tell you this? By the way, now we're getting into what people really want.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, cool. Music, blah, 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 mental health, don't care. Right? Tell me about TV.
No, I got, for my glorious PS5, I got the brand new, just came out WWE video game.
What's that like?
I don't know. I haven't had time to play it. I
Oh.
have not. It's still in the wrap. I've had it for weeks. I've had it for Ace of Weeks.
So tell me why this is more important than Ted Lasso. Is wrestling more important
No, I'm
to
not
you
saying
than
that.
Ted Lasso?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it was an indication of how much I have no time to do anything I actually want to do.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Well, that makes one of us.
Yeah, and we have to pay the bills here. So here we go. This episode is brought to you by Old Mother Brewing Company.
They're a true sponsor now.
They're not just a true sponsor. They are the true sponsor. Guys, I don't know, ladies, men, women, pets, dogs, cats, lizards, iguanas. When you open up your fridge and you see that there's an Old Mother beer in there, the feeling that you get, Colin, what's the feeling you get?
It's like you open up the fridge and you see here's some cottage cheese or here's some Old Mother. And then you see some Old Mother and you think, God damn it, I need some Old Mother.
Yeah. And you open it up and you make a crack sound and you realize that you just have a can of the holy shees.
For those not watching the live stream, he's squinting looking at his cell phone.
I'm having to zoom into this one, guys. It's a great photo, but man, shice, I don't know. Nick and Keith and Kristen, you got
called Holy Shit. That's
holy
what it's called.
holy shit, the IPA. It is 5.5 ABV, and it's back, Colin. It's back. The delicious hazy
Thank
IPA
God.
has 3 different German hops contributing to its aroma, and I can't even pronounce them. So I'm going to make sure we get our could be better German
affiliate, our correspondent.
Correspondent,
Yeah.
thank you. Yes, and he's gonna. They are gonna come on the show, and they're gonna talk about all sorts of things about this beer. But it is available today on draft and 4-packs to go. Which, by the way, we will be having our new photo of the Could Be Better fridge soon.
That's very true. That's very true. And we will also be offering our or not our, but the Old Mother beer at our first ever Could Be Better Festival of Festivals.
Yeah, which is invite only. So I'm glad we're telling everybody, and then we're not going to do it. But it's gonna that's gonna be a really good party, and I kind of hope people try. Again, people, please stop emailing us. We are getting a lot of emails.
Yeah.
couldbebettermeh@gmail.com.
A lot of them are signed Q. I don't know what that means.
I don't either. It's like, okay, I've seen James Bond once, and I guess they're trying to give me some cool stuff.
No, a lot of it's QAnon, actually.
Well, when you introed this as the NPR
morning
edition, I think we're getting targeted.
That's very true. And again, as Chris said, as we hop into this interview, we have a world premiere. We have an actual song that nobody's ever heard before. So please stick around. And if you don't want to hear us talk, that's okay. We understand that. Just go listen to the song because it's very good.
Yeah, it's cool. Big fan of Brendan. Big fan of this band. We have 2 more housekeeping things to keep in mind. So this episode's coming out on April 21st, which is Thursday. So that means tomorrow is Friday the 22nd. And what else are you going to do on a Friday night? Except go to Old Mother and see Silent Old Mountains, Eli and the Waltz, and Mr. Monday. Did you know Mr. Monday used to be in a band called the Bogman Dynasty?
I thought he came from Mr. Tuesday.
No. It's actually from Mrs. Sunday.
Ah.
Yeah. It's a weird thing.
That was clever. That was good.
You got to look at the genealogy tree. It's pretty cool. So they are playing 7 p.m. in Old Mother. Get there. Again, Silent Old Mountains, Eli and the Waltz, and Mr. Monday at Old Mother on April 22nd. That's a Friday. But here's the best part. Nick and Keith have actually allowed for guests to sleep in the parking lot at Gravel and Grind, and you actually can get them free the next night for when there is another show on April 23rd, for those not paying attention. At Old Mother, there's the band TV.
On the radio.
Kite Wave, friends of the podcast, and then Sir Lando, which again I'm hoping is named after Lando Calrissian, but we will find out. But that's again also 7 p.m. start time. Just get there, guys. Have fun. Let's just do the thing.
I'll be there. It was my birthday 3 days before this, so
yeah. You're turning what, 39?
That's very generous, 38. But thank you.
Oh, look at that! Look at that.
I was hoping to make a joke of that, but you actually did my real age, and now people are tuning out.
Well, hope they tune in. Here's the interview with Brendan. We are here with Brendan Frey. What's up?
How you doing, man?
Good. This is something I've been looking forward to all week because you and I are friends.
Yes.
For fans of the podcast, maybe not fans of like our lives. We've known each other for a really long time. And
I know
so
we had fans of our lives, but we'll go with that, sure.
Oh, dude, listen.
I didn't know we had fans of the podcast.
Yeah.
Guys, we broke 1,000 streams like 8 weeks ago. We have, I think, like 100 subscribers. And man, let me tell you, the fan mail doesn't stop.
Somebody sent us their used pens.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of weird because they were all gnawed on.
Yeah.
And typically I'm not a big gnawer of pens.
There's a lot of ink.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
as you were.
No. I'm cool with riffing on pens. I'm a Bic guy myself. But also if I have to go with anything, I'll go with the what's the one that you can like write upside down with that Jerry Seinfeld got from his uncle?
A marker?
No, stop. It's the crap, guys.
This is great
No,
podcasting.
this
Let's
is-
get to our guest who's sitting in my room thinking, why am I sitting? Not my room. I'm sorry, not my room. The Could Be Better Studios.
We're not weird.
I'm not going to lie, when you said pens, I could have swore I heard panties, and I was really concerned there for a second. I was like, yo, this is getting some interesting traffic of you guys here.
I was going to turn that into D-pens. But
Oh.
Fair enough.
I was
Yeah,
thinking pen
didn't get
15,
there.
but I mean, guys, we could go all day.
yeah.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah, Brendan, eat that mic a little bit more, just because we can pick
Sure.
that up. But yeah, so we've known each other
Shred
for a
up
long
on
time. What's cool about that is we can remember how embarrassing things have been for us both. We have both been a fan of wearing clothes exclusively at Hot Topic, playing shows exclusively in front of our parents, haircuts that should be outlawed in several countries, and musical taste that is considerably still questionable.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one thing that definitely is still very present is questionable music taste. And
Yeah.
At a certain point, when you get older, I feel like you just don't give a fuck anymore if it's questionable. You just like what you like.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take full credit for those bad haircuts. Being in a private school, I only had so many options and didn't know what the hell I was doing. So there you go.
Yeah. It's kind of like Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber, but like meets a little swoopiness. It was
Yeah,
cool.
I got a lot of like when I was younger, I got a lot of Fat Bieber comments, and that was not fun at all.
But it's blonde, so it's kind of like Beach Beaver.
Beach Bieber. I mean, he was blonde too for the longest time.
I don't know. Con, are you a believer?
Am I a believer?
Mhm.
Like Justin Bieber?
Yeah. Do you like? I think so. Justin Bieber has believers, I think, is what they're called.
Yeah. I don't know. I tend to like Justin Bieber.
Guys, we are going uncharted territory.
It's very key to the Frederick music scene. We must know this information, Colin.
After all this bullshit, people reading Frederick playlist all those years, they wondered,
Yeah.
does he like Justin Bieber?
That's the first thing. Can Colin play basketball, and does he like Justin Bieber?
We answered one of those questions a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago.
Get back into the archives. But anyway,
Yeah.
Brendan, so you don't play in any of those bands that used to play in anymore. Now you play in this new band called Hostile Ray. Tell the people that don't know you and that don't care about our personal lives, what is this band? Why do you care? And why don't you play any shows?
Oh wait, that's not that new, is it? I thought you've been doing it for a minute.
For a little bit. So really, Hostile Array was a switch for me to back in 2017. I had been playing in another band for years and years, and decided to finally let that project go. Started working with a lot of the same guys at first. We've had a little bit of transition since then, but Yeah, 2017 was when we really first announced, like, hey, we got a new project going on. And we kind of started off a little bit more on, like, the post-hardcore kind of thing, you know, very much into stuff we grew up listening to, like Norma Jean and Under Oath and all those kind of bands and stuff. And as times kind of progressed, we kind of said, fuck it, we're just going to make whatever feels good to us. Still a lot of those influences coming back, but really kind of changed direction, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when we started thinking, okay, do we have to do what we're expected to be doing? And now it's just kind of like, whatever influences come to mind, we're just going with it. So,
well, that's kind of one of those things. Once you, at least in my experience, once you kind of get that liberating feeling where you're just like, I don't care. I just want to make music that I like.
Yeah, definitely.
and you don't feel boxed into a certain genre or a certain process. You're just like, this is what I feel right now. Maybe it's playing the piano. Maybe it's like doing doom metal. Who knows? But if you give yourself that freedom, I think things get a lot more interesting quickly.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest challenges with that, with kind of opening up that aspect of your creativity, is, okay, how do you make this sound like it's coming from the same artist and not someone just like putting out 10 completely different sounding songs that sound nothing alike, but still being able to explore all the spectrums of the music that you like or an interest in.
But you know, my pushback against that would be, I think you still do sound like yourself no matter what. Like if you decided to put out a polka album and then a country album and then a metal album, there would be your signature on it somehow, some way. And I think that's all. I often think that's all in sort of the artist's or the musician's mind. Like they think they have to, I mean, conform is a hard word, but they have to stay in a certain lane.
Do you think that's with all musicians? Because I feel like there's some amazing Nashville musicians that come to my mind that could do a rock record, a blues record, a country record, a polka record, and it will sound totally different. Almost like it's like created in a sterile environment. Are you saying though, like the people that are trying to stay true to themselves or trying to find uncharted waters in themselves, there's a constant there? Or are you saying like all across the board?
I think the people who stay truest to themselves never think about staying true to themselves.
Look at that. Look at that. Put that on a fucking
I think that's pretty
t-shirt.
fair. Yeah, because I think one of the biggest obstacles is you start overthinking everything, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when you start getting to that territory of just getting that staleness or ripping other people off, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could definitely agree with that.
But you're also kind of a classic overthinker, though. So how does that play into you?
It's been a journey. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the things that really helped me a lot was being able to actually get in and engineer my own stuff for demos and stuff like that. For years, you know, I would go to other people that have stuff engineered, you know, or if, you know, most people when they start bands, they just kind of all get in a room and they just play whatever comes to mind and riff off ideas and stuff like that. And then start maturing your songwriting. Someone might take a little bit more of the lead in that sense. For us, it's been very, a lot of like music purists probably would hate it, but like most of our stuff is just straight in to a computer programming our instruments and everything, you know, for demoing purposes. Like we'll play it, you know, might pull out a guitar to like write a riff or something like that, but I'm just going to punch it on my computer.
Sure.
And having that flexibility to just like really quickly say, what is this idea going to sound like if I did this instead? Completely different vibe.
And for people that don't know, what do you mean by when you say engineering?
So like actually being able to sit there at a computer, record the idea and hear it back in real time, you know, because sometimes if you're not able to hear back exactly what you're working on, you can kind of get in your own head and think it sounds one way as opposed to what you're actually hearing back. Right. For me, not for everyone, has their own, there is no right way to write music, right? There really isn't, in my opinion. I think as long as you're doing what works for you and it sounds good at the end of the day, who the fuck cares how you got to the end goal?
Sure.
So
now are these 3 songs that we're playing on this episode, is this first song? Was this a part of that Brendan and company engineering process?
Yeah, so I had a buddy that kind of played a partial role in that in the first song, but the next 2 after that was very much myself and my brother who plays guitar in the band. We are kind of the ones that really put all of our time into demoing that out, and honestly they're probably the truest things to us, because we've always worked with producers for a very long time now, and a lot of the times, the ideas would be very, 50-50 or even 60-40. This is very much like 90 to 80% coming directly from us, and then some of it when you work with a producer, it starts filtering through some of their ideas and everything for the better, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
you hope to not be working with a producer that comes in and says, oh, hey, this is trash, let's just completely throw this out and rewrite this. That's not a fun experience for anything. Luckily, the team we're currently working with is very much like, hey, we like your song idea. Let's take this and make it just a little bit better. Here's something that feels a little weak. Let's retool this a little bit.
Sure.
It's been a wonderful experience. But I'd say, like, most of the new stuff we're cranking out now is very much, like, authentically us, which
Sure.
I'm very excited about.
Sure. So we'll talk about the team, and let's hear the song Bloom from the Hostile Array family band.
Show me how to deal when I can't cope. Show me what is real when I don't know. Even in this light it feels so cold. Show me how to deal at the end of my road. I've weathered this storm so many times, and I can't ever seem to find the eye. Resisting every urge to paint these walls with my mind. I trace these roots back just so I could get across, just to find the foundation has been cracked. So don't be surprised when the branches start to snap. Show me how to deal when I can't go. Show me what is real when I don't know. Even in this light it feels so cold. Show me how to deal at the end of my road. I see the break before the bend, but I still can't seem to get out of my head. It's like the dawn before the dawn will never end. And even though these rays shine through, it's like this fog still dims its hue. Despite the light, I've never seen these flowers bloom. I crossed my heart, I hope to die. Show me how to deal when I can't go. Show me what is real when I don't know. Even in this light, it feels so cold. Show me how to deal at the end of my road. Show me how to deal when I can't go. Show me what is real when I don't know. Even when it feels I've lost my hope. Show me how to deal when I can't find hope. Lost my heart and hope to die. Set my door, think I'm out of time. Lost my heart, I hope I die. Set my door, I'm out of time. I crossed my whole life, and I hope to die. Trying witness, when there's no hope to find. And like a wave, it always comes and goes with the change in time. A part of me show me how to deal when I can't go. Show me what is real when I don't know. Even in this light it feels so cold. Show me how to deal at the end of my road. Show me how to deal when I can't go. Show me what is real when I don't know. Even when it feels I've lost my hope. Show me how to deal when I can't find hope.
Man, Colin, what'd you think of that
That
song?
was a hell of a song.
Right?
I'll tell you what.
What
We do is we sit here.
We meditate
We kneel down on our knees and we listen to the songs
together
together.
in unison.
Sometimes hold hands. And
Hold something.
thankfully, during that song, it gave us time to do our tradition, which was take a shot of very shitty whiskey. And we're all feeling that. So that's the end of the episode. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Please buy our stuff. Do we have things?
We don't have things.
Yeah. Colin, listening to that song, do you have something that sticks out to you
the not liveness of it, the how you just programmed everything.
Yeah. Do you sense
That's
that?
not how it works.
So before the song break, you were talking about a team. So it's like
Family band.
Yeah,
That's right. It's Family Band.
and
That's right,
the Family Band. Yeah, shout out to G Money, the original. So glad he cut his hair. My God. But anyway, so you're talking about a team. Is it like, are you like fans of the Lakers? Are you fans of the Bucks? Is like you fans of like the Dallas Cowboys? Like what's the team here?
Yeah, all the sports balls team.
Sports
That's what my
references,
thing
yes.
is, yeah. No, so each person in our group kind of has their own role, right? So I would say like
And group by you mean band?
yeah,
Okay.
our band. Yeah, let me get more specific there. Yeah, so like Garrison and I, guitar, vocalist, we do most of the actual like core songwriting. We set the foundation for all the songs, bring most of the elements to the table. And then in addition to that, we have our main engineer and producer, whose name is Chris Davis.
Chris Davis sucks.
And he brings a lot of really cool stuff to the table. I really do trust his opinion on a lot of stuff. I mean, he's been in successful bands for years.
He's got really good opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Big
agree
fan.
with that. And then we also have another producer that works on a lot of our post-production stuff named Andrew Simmons. He specializes in a lot of like everything from like synthesizers to programming beats, etc. So kind of really filling out the textures that we already kind of laid the foundation for writing wise, but he just kind of really brings them to life. And anyone who does that kind of stuff knows you have to have a very large library of samples to make things sound actually professional. And that is also another thing that he knows he doesn't just have, but he also knows how to use properly,
Sure.
right? And then in addition to that, I've actually started working for the last couple songs with a vocal producer named Nick Sadler. I think he's based out of LA now, but we work remotely on a lot of stuff, specifically top lining.
Yeah, like Zoom.
No, actually, a lot of times we'll just be sending tracks back and forth between each
cool.
other. The age of the internet, where songwriting can be done just by sending a Dropbox link.
Well, wait a second. I want to let's talk about that for a second,
Sure.
because I know a lot of people. I've had this pipe dream for the last few years where I've written this bucket of music, all electronically.
Sure.
And I just want somebody different on every song. Chris hopped on one song. That's the theme song to this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And I've worked with other people. There's maybe 4 or 5 other songs out there, but I tend to find that people don't want to do that. They don't want to work remotely. They want to just like come bang it out. And you feel comfortable doing that, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, it's convenient. Our band is spread out across the state of Maryland, so working remotely is huge for us. When we actually do come into our initial sessions, for most of them, we do them over Zoom initially. We use apps like Audio Movers, and we send signal to everyone. We've even recorded remotely before. During COVID, that was a big thing with our engineer. No one really knew what was going on with the pandemic. It just started. I ended up just plugging my mic into my interface and sending the signal straight to his computer. So working remotely has actually been great for us, and I don't mind exchanging ideas that way, right? Because I know what I'm good at and like what I'm going to bring to the table when it comes to writing. So I try to keep my ego at a certain level that I don't feel like I'm going to like bring a better opinion or something to the table. I want to hear everyone out and actually work collaboratively with people. I think a lot of people get scared of collaboration, mainly because there is that ego factor, right? Because everyone feels like they need to actually do everything when it comes to songwriting. But it's like, you look at anyone who's massively successful in music, you look at those credits, it's not that, the person who's writing with 10 different people is less talented to someone else. It's just the acknowledgement to, hey, make really good product, you have to have a solid team of people working together.
Does it feel less organic to you?
Honestly, it feels more organic to me now.
Really? More organic? That's a hot take.
But more organic than what? Busting dumb songs in your parents' garage? You,
Don't do that. Don't be cynical like that.
I'm not being cynical.
There's something about getting in a room and banging out a song.
Yeah. No. But that's what I'm saying. Like it feels more organic than being in person, like working through stuff.
I mean, like I said, it depends. There's not a right or wrong way to write a song, right? It's for me, I know coming into a song, I think very high level when it comes to writing.
Sure.
I'm not someone that really gets caught up in
high level. Whoa.
Yeah, like, okay, like what is I can think pretty clearly like, what do I want this song to be structured as? Like,
Well,
okay, here's what this is going to look like. Here's the primary feeling and the overall melody and rhythm. So like, for example, for myself, I'll go in. I am not a crazy good guitarist or drummer or any of that, right? My primary actual instrument is bass, even though I'm the singer for this band. But I'll go in and actually program all the initial drum parts, program the guitar parts, program the bass, all of that, set the foundation, and then say, hey, person who plays drums, come in here and make this better. These fills are really lackluster. Help me like build this out more. Guitarist, hey, this part I really like what I got going on here, but it could be more interesting, right? Like, because I'm probably banging out stupid power chords or single string melodies and things like that, and it'll add some more complexity to it. So for me, it's more organic because I kind of transitioned from just being a singer, or when we first started, predominantly a screaming vocalist, to being a primary songwriter in that sense. And so for me, it's been very organic, and having kind of letting myself organize and structure things, and then bringing the rest of the talent to the table. And our guitarist is the same way. He's brings a lot of ideas to the table, but it's interesting to see his approach versus mine, because I'm very rhythm focused and he's very theory and melody driven. So like we kind of try to counteract each other in that sense. So
Do you think it would be different if you didn't write the lyrics as well?
probably.
Yeah.
Probably, honestly, because
Yeah.
I will be very honest with most people on this subject when it comes to the actual like vocal parts. I spent years in bands as a screaming vocalist, very pattern and emotion based, right? And lyric based. Like that was all older recordings of me was like that was all predominantly all my writing of like when it came to lyrics or vocal patterns and stuff like that. Vocal melodies aren't my strength, so I'll contribute to that, but I definitely get input from other people to help me write that, because I'm like, I know what I do well, and I'm going to play into that strength, and while I'm still working on getting my weaknesses better, I'm going to work with the people that I know can get me where my ideas are now. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
It does. And I think it also kind of makes sense. Like if if you know where the direction is going to go of like a topic that you want to cover, I think that also kind of sets the tone of where you want to see the song go musically as well.
Sure.
So it kind of makes sense where it's like, hey, like you are the master and commander of the ship, and like that, like not in a way where you're like, it's my way or the highway, but you're kind of like, hey, here's the direction that I want to go. Can you help me make it better?
Right.
And it's like, what's been cool, like with at least with knowing you as long as I have, it's the band members that you have now, they're all pretty much have been around for a while.
Right.
All things considered.
Sure.
And there's really no dead weight, which is really cool.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely been cool, because like not just from like there's so many other factors to go into a band, right? It's not just songwriting. When it comes to like other creative talents, our bassist is a graphic designer.
He designed the Could Be Better website, man.
Yeah,
Could Be Better
Math.com. Website. He has done for the past several releases done all of our single art. He's done all of our merchandise, everything. It's so great to have that kind of resource in house, and it saves us money as well, because we're all contributing to the same goal. Our drummer is a photographer, and he
handsome photographer.
Yeah. What was that?
I said handsome photographer.
He's a good looking man.
Shout out,
yeah.
Freddie. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like people don't get that. It's like there are more values than just being a musician, and it's cool when it's like, hey, you're some Nashville-based band that everyone's really, really good, and all you care about is playing well. But it's like, aside from you guys having a team, a producer, really planning stuff out, it's like you're still doing stuff pretty much DIY.
Yeah, it's a different angle on DIY, but it's still very DIY. There's no manager, there's no booking agent. It's just us and our friends. Really at the end of the day, everyone that we're working with on the team here, producers included, are people that we're personally friends with. It's not like we're going to some person that we have no relation with and are just cranking out songs based on their opinions. This is like a very organic thing. Even like I said, Chris, our producer, I've known him from back in the day when we were both playing shows.
Sound of Truth, baby. Sound of
at
Truth.
Like Mount Airy Fire Hall and stuff like that back in the day. So like definitely a lot of organic feel there still.
Yeah. So organic feel. Talk to me about this next song. So we're recording now beginning of April. And so you just released in February the song Heavy. So coming from where you've been before with talking about religion, politics, the current state of world affairs, to now kind of like a focus on mental health at kind of an interesting time.
Sure.
What was the creation, or the, I guess, like the start of coming up with Heavy? And then we kind of lead that into this next song.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of touched on a bunch of themes. Like we started off as a very like politically focused band, and it really was a product at the time, right? Like we started writing our original music around the leading up to the 2016 presidential cycle. Even though we actually came out as a band in 2017, we were already writing that content prior to that for another project, and we were like, we were just at a point where we needed the transition. And so that was very responsive to that. But then after all of that kind of was said and done, I realized how exhausting it was to be a political activist band. Not that it's not like important at all. There's a lot of things on there that I still very much am proud of. There's certain takes on there that I'm probably not super proud of on our first release, because like I know I was going through a transition.
Give me one. Let's work through this together.
I came from a very conservative and fundamentalist background, and my transition into a much more left-leaning ideology was a phase of moderate libertarianism. And so there were some takes. I very strategically kept away from anything economic because I wasn't 100% sure how I felt on certain things.
Sure.
But, there's some crossover on some social issues and yeah, mainly social issues that libertarians and left-leaning people can both agree on. So luckily, most of the stuff I can look back on, I'm like, that take kind of stood up. There's nothing like 100% like, oh, this whole song is terrible. Just certain phrasings and things like that. I'm like, oh, that feels cringy. That feels super cringy.
Give me the cringe though. I want the cringe because like I journal and I look at things that, like I said, like
you journal. Let's go back to that.
Journal? Oh man, yeah. So there's this really cool thing on the internet. It's called a 5-year journal, and what's cool is you can write
it live journal.
No. I wish though, because they could be a sponsor. But no, it's actually like a paper.
Are you being
journal.
serious right now?
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's a 5-year journal, and on each page, it's the day of the year, and you get 5 slots. And so then the idea is that whenever you write on, let's say, so today's April 6th. So shout out, it's my brother's birthday. Hello, I love you. Happy birthday. You're the best. He doesn't even know what podcasts are. It's hysterical. Yeah, he sucks. Anyway, so. But anyway, so April 6th, so 2019 is when I first started doing it.
How many times have I made your journal?
Oh, a ton. Yeah, you can't command F.
There's a whole section just devoted to Colin.
It's an appendix about Colin.
I don't even have an appendix.
Hey, good for you.
So you do this and you just keep writing?
So every day you write, and then so by the time you get through 365 days, you're writing underneath the last entry you did a year ago. And so then the things that either you complain about or the things you talk about, you kind of get this really healthy dose of perspective.
You say healthy, I say bullshit. Okay.
Healthy dose of perspective.
It's funny you go the journal perspective on that, because I've literally have gone to
Facebook. Yeah.
No, literally gone to my therapist and told her before, hey, my whole history of playing music since the time I was 14 and recording stuff when I was 14. I'm 28 now. It's like having a live journal of knowing where I was, but it was a very public journal.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Very public journal, because it literally can see just my growth as a person, as painful as that is, but it's just so public, and that's what's so upsetting sometimes. So it's a public journal.
Yeah. So it's a private journal. It's the thing where it's I'm seeing those things of I said this thing. I'm like, wow, that was a really emotional in the moment take, and not that it was wrong, but just I don't feel the same way about it a year later, kind of thing.
Sure.
So give me your cringe take, and then we'll play something heavy.
My my cringe take was I can't even think of a single line. There's just certain songs where the vibes just felt weird.
All right. We're gonna ask the Hostile Array Family Band fans here to write us in at couldbebettermeh or couldbebettermeh@gmail.com, and we want Brendan's cringe takes. Look at his Facebook, look at his Twitter, check him out on LiveJournal, and we're gonna see what's going on. But we're gonna play Heavy, that just came out not too long ago.
Breathe it chest tonight. Bury me with my doubt. I'm haunted and left here alone. I'm lying wide awake with the lights off, trying to fight the pain in my head. I'd tell you everything if I just could find the right words to say. 'Cause I can't let it go. I'm stuck inside my head, hanging on, but I choke on every word I said. And these voices never end. Can I feel okay again? Can I feel okay again? Breathe it in, breathe it out. This heaviness is weighing on my chest tonight. Drown me in my doubt. I'm scared to be left here alone. I'm lying wide awake with the lights off, trying to fight the pain in my head. I'd tell you everything if I just could find the right words to say.
All right. So, Chris, what did you think of that song?
So-
Because the last song that we heard, I was capable of talking about it. How about that?
Yeah, so I've actually heard Heavy before because they released a video for it and I checked it out. It was the new song that I haven't heard yet, which we all get to hear later on. So
Later on.
yeah, so Hostile Array Family Band Fan Club, we are here.
Is it heavy or happy? Because I'm happy.
Dude, we just owed.
We
owed Pharrell like
that's the vibe right there.
20 grand just now. Damn. Dude, the snaps are trademarked. You can't do that.
That's true. So you really like that song because you've listened to it a bunch.
Yeah. Is this how it felt?
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
it
Okay.
did.
So yeah.
You guys have the. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. No, this song was cool.
I'm really happy to see you taking my mental health seriously, Chris.
Yeah. Well, guys, I liked it on Facebook. It's like I gave you like 5 cents. Do you make money on Facebook? Speaking of mental health,
On Facebook royalties?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually they're
Do you really?
Not much. I'd probably say like from all distribution as a whole,
Yeah.
like maybe $50 to $100 a month or something like
So-
that.
That's a lot.
yeah. I mean, we don't make. I mean, well, sorry, we make
we
5
make
times
a
that much
lot,
on the
yeah.
internet. Come on.
From the Could Be Better Studios.
Yeah. Actually, shameless promotion on our website, couldbebetterman.com. If you like the show, you can donate to our PayPal.
Really, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We've gotten like 0.00005 Bitcoin. It's awesome.
That's more than I have because I lost all my money on Bitcoin. Thanks, Abe. Okay, thanks, Abe.
Shout out to Abe. God, it's great. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, mental health, man. Let me tell you, it's important, and I'm glad you guys are doing stuff about it because I know that's like been really big in your life.
Yeah. And honestly, that was like mental health was something that I feel like I had to transition into because, like I said before, like politics is exhausting. Views and opinions change for the better.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
as you grow as a
sometimes.
person, but like Well, hopefully for the better.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, I really wanted to write about, like, what do I know? I know about mental health because I've lived issues with mental health for years, you know, anxiety, depression, PTSD, religious trauma, all kinds of stuff that, like, is just me putting myself out there, really. Heavy was very much about dealing with just anxiety and panic attacks. Bloom earlier was about, you know, times in my life where I've felt extremely depressed and contemplated taking my own life and things. You know, it's stuff that is very real for me. So when it comes back to the whole concept of being organic, like, the lyrics I'm producing now is definitely 100% coming from, like, where my heart actually is, you know.
Yeah. And do you think writing and creating in the way that you're doing now, is it better for your soul now, or is it
100%. It was legitimately something that a therapist told me to do one time. She was like, you should write. She's like, try making something creative out of your struggles. She's like, it will help you process. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. This is many years ago at this point, and I tried it, and I was like, shit, she's right. Like, this is very cathartic for me.
Did you feel exposed though? Were you worried?
Partially, but anymore, like, I feel like I give those things less power the more open I am about it. You know, the more I can openly acknowledge my own issues, the more empowered and control I feel.
Are you on the? I mean, and this is too personal a question. You could tell me
Sure.
to fuck off, but do you feel like you're on the other side of it? Like, you have things under control, and music has played a big role in helping that.
Sure.
be
So
resolved?
I think there's a big difference between being under control and being on the other side of it. I think for a lot of people, there's this myth that, like, you can beat a mental health issue. Sometimes it's a chronic thing, right? It's a thing that you're going to struggle with for the rest of your life, and I think I'm very much in that place. But I think I'm in a healthy place where, you know, even though it's work, it's always going to be work.
Is that hard to accept though?
I think it used to be. But for me, I think I've come to realize there's too many good things in my life to let the bad things completely just consume it. And that's not something that just kind of happened. It's not like, oh, hey, like, these good things just came to me and all these things started becoming a little, like, no, I had to work for that shit, right? But the hard work does actually pay off. And it feels extremely overwhelming at times, right? So if anyone out there actually is struggling with mental health issues, it does take work, but it does get better.
That's what I was going to say. Like, was there a point in your life where you never thought you would be at the place you're at now?
Oh, definitely. Many times. Many times.
So you get there through the therapy, through the music, through just life. Like, how is it?
Therapy has been one of the most wonderful things, and that's why I'm so, like, open to talk about it nowadays. Like, is it something that changed my life so much for the better? Because a lot of times there were things that I didn't even realize needed to be addressed, because, like, it was just the norm, especially if you've dealt with it since, like, you know, you were a kid or in high school or something like that. These are things that you just kind of accept as normal, as part of your existence. And then at a certain point, when you finally actually start seeking outside perspective of someone who actually knows what they're talking about, it's amazing that change in perspective it can have.
That's a beautiful thing, because it takes belief on both ends. Like, you have
sure.
to. There's no way that you can get help or change or whatever if you don't actually invest in it yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes like, that is, to me, the biggest first amount of strength. And that seems like something you did early on. And since then, now it's sort of this continuation of building strength toward all of it.
Definitely. It's a snowball effect, really. And that's not to say that there aren't steps backwards at times, right? But it's definitely something that's compounding over time.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a muscle, right? I mean, like, you know, the more you work it out, the better, the stronger it gets. And, you know, it's like it's weak at first and you bulk it up. Speaking of muscle and bulking it up, your songs are on a ton of, like, freaking workout playlists and stuff on Spotify. Tell me about people getting ripped to some Hostile Ray songs. What's that been like?
I don't know why you'd want to lift and get sad at the same time, but apparently some people are into that.
That's what I do, brother.
maybe you're in there lifting because you are sad. I know who hasn't sad lifted before,
You
right?
pumped to cry. Let's go.
No, it's funny because, like, I'm very big on online promotion, and we do a lot of things via ads and everything like that. Like, you know, people kind of really shit on the idea of paid advertisement for artists because it seems like almost like opposite of like a DIY thing, but it's like it's all coming out of our pockets. This is like no different than trying to run the unsexy side of a business, right? It's like that's really what it is. It's not something that's like cool to post on like social media where it's like, hey, you know, we're playing this tour, we're playing this show, but like it gets new eyes on you, right? Yeah. So like I think that's part of it, and also there's like I will do a lot of things to try to promote our band, and there's like on Spotify, there's, you know, a bunch of different people that you can like send music to and be like, hey, check this out, if you like it, add it to your playlist. And I've spent more time than I'd like to admit sitting there just emailing people being like, hey, check out our song, if you like it, add it to this playlist, maybe we'll like get us in front of some more people. And weirdly enough, some gym bros apparently like it, and I'm okay with that, you know. So that's where it kind of comes from.
So shout out to Planet Fitness, One Life Fitness, Gold's Gym. Thank you guys for cranking the crunk that is Hostile Ray.
Let's be real. Most people that are listening to a gym, listening to us in the gym, is probably at Planet Fitness. It's not going to be Gold's.
most definitely.
Or Soldier Fit.
Oh yeah, shout out to Soldier Fit, Odin Fitness,
the WWE Performance Center.
Dude, you know, I was thinking about that earlier. Brendan, why haven't you tried to get like your song under like an amateur wrestler like walkout music? Because I feel like Code Orange has already paved that path for you, and you can do what they do.
I feel like you have to have like an industrial undertone to kind of score that thing.
I can't believe you just referenced Code Orange.
Do you think I don't know who they are?
That was incredible. That was the best moment in the history of this podcast. I'm leaving. I'm done.
Code Orange is awesome. They did some really cool, like, hey, we're going to do some like mysterious shit that makes everybody confused. They did the whole Thinners of the Herd thing back in the day. Like, their stuff is cool. And now they're like taking over the world of wrestling, and it's just awesome. But Brendan, you just need leather pants. Like, I think that's all you need. Everybody else looks kind of like, hey, we're ready to fuck some people up, and that's cool. But dude, that'd be cool.
I feel like I'd get really warm in leather pants. That just sounds very uncomfortable.
Oh, we're all really warm in this.
Yeah.
Could be better studios.
Said. We'll blame the whiskey. That's what it is.
Well, that's true. So we have one more song, right?
Yeah. So this is the world premiere?
This is the world premiere?
Technically. So this comes out on April 21st, then that song comes out on April 22nd. So yes, you guys will be the exclusive first premiere.
Does this mean everybody's going to listen to us? We're going to get 1 million views?
I mean, I'll try to be like, hey, yo, check this out. Like, go check out this podcast.
We're sponsored by Code Orange.
That's right.
Dude, we are actually fueled by Code Orange.
We're fueled by Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Code Orange. Brendan, I'll let you have the last word here. So this new song is called Cult. Give us a little taste of what that's like. If it's Kool-Aid that we're drinking, tell me what it is, and tell people where they can find you.
Sure.
All the stuff.
Yeah. So Cult is probably like the weirdest song we've ever done. Definitely branched out a lot.
That reggae beat is weird, man.
Yeah, it's definitely actually there is actually a trap beat throughout half the song. So like,
screw you, Colin.
Yeah,
so
not reggae beat. Reggae and trap are very. Oh god, I'm gonna educate you on some of this stuff after this, Chris.
Is it called reg rap?
Yeah, that's it. But you know, there's a lot of different influences come into it. But no, Cult is kind of just a song I wrote about my disillusionment to a lot of stuff with organized religion. There's a lot of stuff of organized religion that I felt burned on in the past. So it's just kind of me writing about my frustrations with that.
Sure. And where can people find you?
Yeah.
Not you, your band. Nobody cares about you.
Yeah, please don't come and try to find me personally.
Social security number is 555.
I always tell people to look us up on Spotify or Apple Music. But if you want to connect with us on social media, Instagram is my #1 go-to, where I will probably respond to anyone there. So,
and you can also find them at your local Planet Fitness.
Yeah,
that's right.
Planet Fitness. Spot me, bro.
Just find a gym bro, ask him what he's listening to, and it's definitely us. Thanks to the gym playlist. There you go.
This has been such a pleasure. I hope you've had fun.
Yeah, no, this is cool.
I don't care if you had fun.
Fuck you, Chris.
I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to bro out with Chris more, since you guys are best.
Spot me, bro. This is Cult by Hostile Ray. Brendan, love you, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Love you too.
Leave your conscience at the altar and your morals at the door. Now that all you've built begins to falter from the problems you ignore. Tell me when you look at your reflection, are you proud of what you see? Still you question my disaffection. Why don't you practice what you preach? Is this a hill you'll die on? Is this where you take your stand? You're quick to point the finger when the blood is on your hands. Are you devoid of reason, or just so blinded by your faith? Desperate for something to believe in. It leaves a bitter taste. Is this a hill you'll die on? Is this where you take your stand? You're quick to point the finger when the blood is on your hands. When is it enough? In the shame, you can wash out the stain. You're a victim of your own way. Twisting all that you've read, hanging on by a thread. You can run, but you can't escape. Is this a hill you'll die on? Is this where you take your stand? You're quick to point the finger when the blood is on your hands.
The Could Be Better podcast is produced by Chris Perry and Colin McGuire from the Could Be Better Studios in Frederick, Maryland.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at couldbebettermeh.
You could also email us at couldbebettermeh@gmail.com. And don't be afraid to reach out if you're an artist, a band, anybody looking for a show. We'd love to book you. Also, if you'd happen to want to be a sponsor, we'd like to hear from you too.
Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or follow us on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Give us a 5-star review if you like what you hear and want to hear more. And also give us a 5-star review if you don't like what you hear and definitely don't want to hear more.
His name is Chris Perry,
This is Colin McGuire.
and we are out of time. For now, this could be better.